It was a dreary, rain-soaked afternoon, the kind that seemed to settle into the bones, when the funeral of Detective Lucas Morgan took place. Friends, family, and fellow officers gathered to mourn the loss of a man they deeply respected. Among them was Shadow, Lucas's devoted K-9 partner. The black German shepherd sat still by the casket, his ears flicking now and then, as if listening for something only he could hear. Lucas had been a respected officer, known for his sharp instincts and unshakable dedication to justice. His sudden death in a shootout with a notorious gang had shaken the entire department. Shadow, who had been injured during the same incident, had made an incredible recovery. Now, he was here for one final goodbye to the man who had been more than just a partner. He'd been family. As the priest delivered his solemn eulogy, a sharp bark shattered the silence. Everyone turned. Shadow had leapt to his feet, fur bristling and eyes locked onto the coffin. He barked again, louder, more urgent this time. Whisper confusion rippled through the crowd. Shadow had always been well-trained, calm even in the most chaotic moments. But now, he seemed distressed, frantic even. "Easy, boy," an officer murmured, reaching for the dog's collar. But Shadow broke free, lunging toward the coffin and scratching at it with desperate intensity. His growls turned into high-pitched whines as his claws scraped the polished wood. "Get him under control," the police chief barked. "This is not the time for theatrics." But Shadow refused to stop. Something was wrong, and he wouldn't be silenced. Lucas's mother clutched her chest. "What's he doing?" she asked, her voice shaking. Sergeant Daniels looked around, confused and concerned. "I've never seen him act like this." Then Lucas's brother David stepped forward, his face pale but resolute. "Open it," he said. The chief blinked. "David, I know you're grieving, but—" "I said open it," David insisted. After a tense pause, the chief gave a reluctant nod. "All right, but be ready, it won't be easy to see." 2 officers stepped forward and lifted the lid. What happened next stunned everyone. Gasps filled the air. Evelyn, Lucas's mother, screamed and nearly collapsed. Officers instinctively reached for their weapons. The man in the coffin wasn't Lucas Morgan. Shadow sat back quietly now, tail wagging just once, as if to say, finally. Chaos erupted. The funeral ended abruptly as officers scrambled to secure the area. Radios crackled with urgent chatter. An investigation was launched immediately. Within hours, the horrifying truth surfaced. On the night of the shootout, 2 critically wounded officers had been rushed to the hospital. One died. The other was put into a medically induced coma. In the chaos and confusion, the hospital staff had mixed up their identities. Lucas had survived, but had been mistakenly declared dead, and the man being buried was Officer Dean Hall. Lucas, unconscious and fighting for his life in a hospital bed, had no idea the world had already mourned him. When police arrived at the hospital to confirm the discovery, they found Lucas alive, still in a coma but stable. The revelation shook the department to its core. How could such a tragic mix-up occur? Who had failed to verify the identities? And how much time had been wasted? 2 weeks later, Lucas woke up, still weak from his injuries. He was devastated to learn about his colleague's death, but he was also filled with overwhelming gratitude for Shadow. His dog had somehow known. After months of rehab, Lucas returned to duty. Shadow never left his side. Their bond, already unbreakable, had only deepened. The police department overhauled its identity verification protocols to ensure nothing like this would ever happen again. But to Lucas, the most powerful takeaway wasn't about paperwork or procedure. It was about faith. Sometimes a dog's loyalty and instinct see through what human eyes can't. As the sun set on the cemetery that day, one truth echoed in every heart. Shadow had saved his partner's life again. What began as a routine funeral unraveled into a chilling twist of fate. And it was a dog's intuition that broke through the silence of a terrible mistake. In the weeks that followed, the story of Lucas Morgan's miraculous return from the dead spread like wildfire. A reminder of how one small oversight can change everything, and how love and loyalty can change it back. The hospital faced accountability, and reforms were made. But through it all, Shadow remained by Lucas's side, calm and steady. When Lucas could finally walk again, the first thing he did was kneel beside his furry companion, whispering words of thanks only Shadow truly understood. The dog simply wagged his tail as if to say, "Told you I'd wait." Months later, Lucas was back on active duty, his bond with Shadow stronger than ever. Together, they resumed their mission to protect and serve. And their story, it became a legend, a reminder that sometimes the greatest heroes don't wear badges. They walk on four legs. If this story touched your heart, if you felt the emotion, the tension, and the triumph, please support our channel. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe dogs have a sixth sense? Have you ever witnessed a moment where an animal seemed to know more than we could explain? We'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Paw prints